In my last video, I started the disassembly on my 1987 Honda GL1200 Goldwing, and I wanted to check the timing marks on the timing belts. So I kind of did a real quick once over on that. I didn't have the book, so there was information that I probably really wanted to check out and make sure of. And I have my book now, so I want to show you a couple things in the book, and then I want to show you my bike, and we'll go over the timing a little bit just in case you've never changed timing belts before. And then I'm going to start putting things back together because I want to get it ready to prepare it to start it. I didn't want to even try to start it until I checked the timing belts. So let's go ahead and look at the book real quick. All right, here's my book. It's a climber manual and it's made for this bike. First thing I want to show you is it talks about the timing mark, and it says that you have to align it to the T1 timing mark, and you have to align that with the index marks in the case of the engine block. And this is what it looks like. It's got a T, then a 1, and below that is an F. But you want the lines on that to match the notches in the case, and then you're perfectly aligned. All right, the next thing I want to show you is when you're checking the tension on the belts, it says that you need to apply 4.4 pounds of pressure and it should have a deflection of 3 to 5 millimeter, which is 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch. And you're supposed to be checking the deflection on the long side of the belt, not on the tensioner side, but on this long side here. You're supposed to check the deflection right there. And the last thing I want to show you on the book, in the book, is the timing belt tensioner bolts are 19 foot-pounds, and the timing belt cover bolts are 9 foot-pounds. All right, when I did my video the other day, it was hard because of the camera angle to show, and it still kind of looks like it's off, but it's just because of the camera angle. But if you see that T has a line on each side of it, and those 2 notches on each side of the case there, you have to line that up, and then you know that your crankshaft is in position. Okay, now on the cam sprocket, when you have it in the right position, the words up will be facing up like this. And then if you look on the inside, excuse me, there's a line right here. And on the case out here is a notch, a hump. You want to line that line up with this hump right here. As you can see, this one is aligned correctly. And then on the other side of the bike, as you can see, there's that line in the cam pulley. The word up is facing up. And then that hump in the case is lined up with it. So everything is in the correct position. Now you can see right here, I just took some fingernail polish and I put a line across here. And then I scratched out the center of it. So whenever I bring this around the next time, I don't even really need to take that plug out to look for the T mark. I'll have this mark as a witness mark. I'll show you. I'll take this and I'll turn it. And I have the spark plugs out of it this time, which makes it a lot easier. Now I'm looking for that mark. Here it comes. It's pretty close. And as you can see, it says PU, which means it stinks. It's in the wrong position. The up is in the down position. It's supposed to be up here, so we're 180 degrees out. So once we turn it again, Okay, here comes my mark. And I get that lined up. And as you can see, everything is lined correctly again. So there's really only two positions. The reason for marking this is that say you're taking your belts off and this turns just ever so slightly and you don't notice it, well, you can keep an eye on that mark. That way, whenever you put your belts on, you can make sure that this is lined up and this is lined up over here. That way you have no movement and you know everything's correct. Okay, the next thing we want to do is check the belt deflection. And all I did is from the top of the paper down, I drew a line at 3mm and 5mm, or 1/8 inch and 3/16. And just hold that best you can steady at the top of the belt and try to apply about 4 pounds of pressure. As you can see, mine falls right where it's supposed to, so mine feels like my deflection on my belt is perfect. Okay, now with my torque wrench set at 19 foot-pounds, I'm going to check these tensioner bolts to make sure they're good. Yeah, that one's loose. I need a deep well socket for that one. That one was good. That one's good. And that one's good. The only one that was loose was this one that's kind of hard to get to because of the frame being in the way. So now I know they're all correct. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting the covers on it. And this cover has one bolt longer than the rest of them. And this goes on the left-hand side of the bike, the longest one does. When you slide this in, you got to make sure not to knock off your gasket. Alright, that'll do it for the timing cover. Alright, now I'm going to put a little bit of petroleum jelly on my O-ring. That'll kind of help it to slide into place and seal and not have any issues with that. I'm going to put my radiator in, and I'm going to hook my plug up first. Whoop. Still have stuff in my radiator a little bit. Got to get my overflow tube going up there. Alright, I'm going to hook my wire up. Okay. The main thing is when you're trying to put that in, it seems like, is that overflow tube that goes to the tank. It has to go up right next to the filler neck. Alright, now we'll go ahead and put our brackets on here. And I'm just going to barely lightly snug these bolts because we have to put the plastic on and have to move these around in order to align the plastic. I'm going to go ahead and tighten them. I don't want the radiator to come loose, and if I have to loosen them to move them, I will. Okay. Now I'll reattach this housing. I'm going to find out what the torque spec is for that. Now on this drain bolt, it didn't come with a sealing washer. At least mine didn't have one. So I got a copper washer out. I'm going to put it in there. That's going in a lot better than it came out. Okay, now I'll just snug up this drain bolt. There we go. Then I'll just reach in here and just slide this on for now. Then we'll get one of these pick tools and I'll just kind of run it around, help pull it out like that. Alright, that's all the way down, so I'm not going to put a clamp on that yet, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. Okay, now I'm just going to attach this hose back on the tank for now. And then we'll fill up the radiator with distilled water. I'm not going to use antifreeze coolant yet, and there's a couple reasons why. One is that I want to flush the system out, which I need to do, I think, because I'm going to be switching the coolant. I'm going to be using Honda HP2 coolant in this. I think I overfilled it. Well, I'm going a little bit too fast. I'm making a mess. All right, it's filled to the top. It's going to be hard to tell whenever I have a leak because I've spilt so much of it, but I'm going to clean all that up before I start it. It looks like I need a new radiator cap. I didn't notice that whenever I took it out, but somebody damaged that radiator cap. I knew I had a leak from somewhere. I wasn't sure where it was at, but it was probably coming out of here, I guess. So I'm going to have to get me a new cap. But for now, I'm going to set it on there. One thing I noticed whenever I took all this stuff off is this plug was just laying down in there. I want to ask you guys that might know where this might go. This is a solid green and a green with a white stripe. A solid yellow and a yellow with a white stripe. I don't really see any place that looks like it's missing from, but it was laying right here. And then this ground is broke off. I don't know what that goes to. I'd have to look and see, but if any of you guys know where this stuff goes, let me know. Give me a little bit of a clue. I'm not that far yet where I'm going to be looking for that kind of thing, but let me know if you know anything about it. I removed the fuel hose off of here the other day so I could, off of my fuel pump, so that I could get to that viewing window for the timing mark. That gas smelled awful. The filter was really dirty. Let me show you. You can see it's kind of rusty color. I'm going to have to take my tank off, I think. But look inside that filter. Look at all that rust inside of there. So I'm going to have to be using probably several filters to get all this out. Even after I clean it, I'm going to have to change the filter continuously for a while, which isn't a big job. But I also noticed that my petcock was dripping, so I got to address that as well. Well, the only thing I have left to do from the parts I took off is put this inspection cover back on over the timing mark. And if you do this, don't forget to put the O-ring back on because you don't want oil leaking out of this. So I still need to do that. But in the next video, my plan is I ordered another battery, supposed to be here today, the correct one. And I'm going to address the fuel pump. I have a, what they call auxiliary fuel bottle that I have coming. So my plan is I'm going to try to get that fuel pump running in the next video. Hopefully, I didn't order one, but I'm hoping that one will come back to life. If it does, then I'm going to hook my auxiliary fuel bottle into that fuel pump. I may have to give it a couple squirts of starting fluid or something, and I'm going to try to start it. I do also have some iridium plugs that I ordered that are coming. They're a little more expensive, but the spark on this bike wasn't super strong, so I don't know if there's a grounding issue. Maybe it's normal for the bike, I don't know. But I know that the iridium plugs doesn't take as much power to make a nice spark, so I thought I'd get those to kind of help things a little bit. Now I know this thing's got a bad drag in the starter, and I don't know if that's related to the battery. It didn't have enough power in it. I don't know, but I'm going to find that out too. So I'm going to put a battery in it, try to get the fuel pump running, and hopefully get the bike running in the next video. So stick with me. We're making progress, at least trying to. And I'm thankful so far that everything's looking good. So that's a good sign. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.